Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago here. We'll cross Lake in Michigan here. And there, we're by the Wrigley building there. Lake in Michigan. We'll head across and we'll head probably down Wabash. I'm going to try to head to the Harold Washington Library today. I'm going to try to get to the rooftop garden. I called them yesterday, and first they said it was open yesterday. Hey, they got the reindeer antlers on the car there. That's nice. There's the Wrigley building there. How you doing there? We'll turn on the comments here. Chris, how you doing there? Krista, Sabrina, Suburban Garden there. How you doing there? Yeah, let's cross Michigan Avenue here. And hey, Julie Reed, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, we got about, I don't know, 44 degrees here. It's kind of gloomy and overcast there. Krista, Michael Rodriguez there. Yeah, Lunch Bunch. Ryan, how you doing there? So here we'll head across. We'll head down Wabash here. You know, so we'll see Millennium Park enough later this week. Yeah, it looks like the Kris Kringle Market's going to open tomorrow. So at 11, November the 20th. Today's November the 19th. We got 12:03 in the PM. Chicago, Illinois, 44 degrees. So yeah, tomorrow we'll plan on seeing if the Kris Kringle's open. We'll try to catch it on the first day. Probably be pretty crowded. We'll see if anything changed or if it's the same setup as last year. It looks pretty much like the same setup as last year. There's the orange line. There's the orange line around the bend there. So again, I'm going to head down Wabash. We'll eventually get over to State Street. And then we're going to try to, well, I keep saying try. The Harold Washington Library is open. I'm going to switch to their Wi-Fi once I get there. Because every time the walls are so thick in that postmodern building there that I always lose my connection. I'm going to try to get to the 10th floor, which they have the winter garden, the roof deck. And people have asked me, I know we've gone there many times. I probably haven't gone there much in 2 years because I always would lose my connection, or I would go up there and it would be closed. Many other Chicago live streamers go up there. It's not really a secret. It's a kind of a nice winter garden there at the top of the Harold Washington Library. And this is the Harold Washington College. So here's the Harold Washington College. Who's Harold Washington? He was the first black mayor of Chicago in the 1980s there. And he died in office. There's the Trump Tower. And it was a real tragedy. And here's the Panda Express here, the bend of the loop here. Elevated train tracks here, and we'll head down Wabash. We'll see what's shaking. Look at this amazing skyscraper canyon there. Yeah, Michael, Ryan, let's see, James, Ivan, how you doing there? Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Look at the train heading around there. I like when it comes around the bend there. Look at that. Yeah, green line to Cottage Grove. Let's follow along with it here. All along Wabash as it goes down there. Naya Papaya, how you doing there? Hubert, how you doing there? Angie Love. Yeah. Friends, Wes, S-Fan Sky, Samuel Jones there. Yeah, Scott. Anita, thanks for being on there. Angie Love. Yeah. Jerry, how you doing there? Yeah, Krista Alvin's tuning in there. The Ruby Raven there. Sheridan. Yeah. Debnick. Yeah, Michael Rodriguez. Sabir. Yeah, this is the United States of America. Sabir, I thought you were tuning in before there. You should know what country this is. Don't make us think you're a bot by asking the same question you asked this morning. I appreciate it. Antonio, Angie, might be somebody with your same name there. But yeah, this is the United States of America, planet Earth here in Chicago, Illinois. Welcome to America, for good or for bad. And here we're heading down Wabash. We're at Randolph here. Here we'll go by former Marshall Fields here, Macy's. We went inside there. There's the Nederlander. There, people are crossing, so we'll cross too. You get to Millennium Park that way. We'll get there later this week. Later this week, they're going to have a bunch of festivities. We saw the Old Town tree lighting last night, so we're on Wabash. If you look at this, see how they save these facades. There's a roof deck there for that housing. Yeah, Gotham City. All 3,000, the entire population of Chicago was shot. We're all dead. So hey, are you happy? Are you happy where everybody's shot in Chicago? Yeah, we're all bleeding out the street here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just replying to a comment there. People like to make fun of Chicago, but you know, odds are probably the person making fun of Chicago is another American. They like to look down on Chicago and feel better about themselves, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to look down upon your fellow Americans like we're evil people that live in Chicago, and we're so stupid that we live in Chicago because our crime rate's so bad and everything's so expensive and winters are cold, and so everybody likes to pile on and act like they're superior to Chicago, because that's what Americans do. They look down on other people to feel better about themselves. Thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Chicago. Here we'll go down Washington here. Hey, there's an orange line. Still got transit. Well, if you want to tune in and learn something here, we're going to head to the Harold Washington Library. I know the budgets for the libraries have been severely cut. And if you're going to cut library budgets, now is a good time to do it, because they're cutting the Department of Education. We're cutting the PBS. We're cutting the funding for everything that's educational, and so we'll have a dumb populace that don't know their First and Fourth Amendment rights, and they'll just accept all this. They won't pay attention to the news because it's too hard to watch the news, and government can get away with government gets away with, both the left and the right. So hey, let's celebrate the cutting of the Department of Education at the federal level, the cutting of the library budgets for Chicago, because all our money's going to pensions and lawsuits and debt, money we already promised the firefighters and teachers union. And I know it's hard. City issues are hard. We were paying attention to that Mondambi election in New York City. We'll see how it's going to be harder than, capitalist city there. Wish them best luck. They're Democratic Socialists elected to the mayor of New York City. We'll see how it plays out here. But hey, we're in Chicago. We're on Wabash here. We're going to go down to the Harold Washington Library. So I'll cut over to State Street here. Yeah, now's a good time here because we can check out the Gothic Target here, the former Carson Prairie Scott building. And we'll catch it across the way there. Hey, got the snowman here, donuts here. Aisha, how you doing there? Pizza Lisa, how you doing there? Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, yeah. Lisa's becoming a pirate. I like that. Yeah, Anita, Chris, how you doing there? Taco jalapeno salsa, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Thanks. I know. Hey, there's the sound of the train there. All apologies if I did something. I think you were just taking a break there, and I appreciate it. And I know you've been helping out with the other live streamers. I appreciate that. It bothers me. I feel bad, like that guy covered his head when he came out of Chipotle. I know not everybody likes live streamers, certainly in the age of ICE, and government can be watching my account. Foreign agents can be watching my account here. We're on YouTube, but we are in public. And if you're worried, if you're worried about being on my camera, there's a camera there. There's a camera on all the streets. You go on the CTA, you're on camera there. And if you don't trust me, you don't trust the government, I'm sure, as well. And the government has a lot of cameras on it. They have cameras in your phone. AI companies surveil everything you do. I'm glad people are aware of it, and I don't like it either. I never liked being on other people's cameras too, but I got used to it being, anytime I walk by the Bean or any of these other things here, we get a few other people's cameras here. See, look at this amazing detailing here. This is the wrought iron, cast iron detailing of the Carson Prairie Scott building. And see how where the 4 is, you can see Louis H. Sullivan, you can see his initials there, Louis Sullivan, the architect, with his partner Donkmar Adler. I don't know if he was still with Donkmar Adler when he did this or not. See the large windows, these are Chicago style windows, and this was an innovation of steel frame construction. You see all the columns here allow these big giant floor plates, which is great for commercial shopping, large floor plates for factory floors and things like that. And that's what the Chicago architects developed perfected steel frame construction. Louis Sullivan was a part of that even before Frank Lloyd Wright was his apprentice. He worked as a draftsman for it. But look at this detailing here. This is all metal work here that protects the columns there. Fireproof construction. And they did it with elegance. And look at these amazing geometric patterns. And they were trying to get away from the Renaissance revival styles and create a true American style that was their own, where they could express their architectural ideals through the designs there. Balance, symmetry, repetition, and geometric shapes that are totally unique to the architect. And this is Louis Sullivan. This is the 33. And so, but thanks federal government, thanks ICE. Now I notice people are really worried about cameras and being filmed, and it's gotten worse this past year. As we know, they go into Charlotte, and I understand there. I'm empathetic. People don't want to be filmed. I won't film them. And but I'm not the only one. There's other live streamers, and ICE records themselves. They record. They should. They're now mandated, at least in this jurisdiction, to do body cams and release the footage should there be anything bad that goes. But here's State Street. Yeah, this is the Palmer House Hilton. The Palmer House Hilton here, loop of Chicago. We're going to head down to the Harold Washington Library here. And when I get there, I got to remember to switch the Wi-Fi. Hopefully we can have some, yeah. So here, what's shaking here, JB? Yeah. Thanks, Taco. Thanks, Taco, for spending the time and temp there. Hope you're doing well. And let's see here. Peter Jones there. No, Peter Jones, in America, United States of America, our First Amendment free speech rights, this has been upheld in court. If you're in public, you're on a public street here, and there's gray areas like when you're on the CTA. CTA has their own rules. They can ask you to stop filming. They can ask you to get a permit. Mainly they do it for filming. Here's the inside of the Palmer House Hilton. Usually I lose my connection when we go in there. I'll have to use their hotel Wi-Fi. Maybe we'll figure it out. But in the United States, when you're in the public, we're in the public gaze here. You're allowed to film. Even this includes public beaches. If you're outside, now, when you're in a private business establishment, yes, they can ask you to stop filming. Some big box retailers don't care, like Target and Walmart. No one, I walk right past security live streaming. They know I'm live streaming. They don't tell me to stop. Places where you have a reasonable expectation of not having privacy, like, you know, you're on a public bus, you know, things where, you know, you wouldn't do things in private that you would do on a public bus. The CTA can record you on a public bus. The CTA can record you on a public train. The cities, London does this. It's even beyond, depends on the jurisdiction of the country you're in. Most countries like China, they have the same thing where they can film you. If you're in public, they put you in a database. And we know now the United States has a huge database of people's faces. You go through an airport, they want to scan your face. It goes into a public database. ICE can use it to identify you just by your face. And odds are they already got your face in a database if you pay taxes and went through the DMV and got a driver's license, which you got to get a photo ID for all that. So fortunately, I have not been sued yet for live streaming. I'm prepared for it because sometimes there are, you know, I film people's decorations from the street and the window and stuff. I try not to, if there's children or school activities, I try not to film that out of respect for the parents and the kids. We did film Santa Claus last night. It was in a public, you know, tree lighting ceremony with their families there. We were in the public and part of the community there. I felt that was fair use there, so we didn't zoom in. So, you know, sometimes people get angry when I live stream on the beach there. I understand that, but I'm not the only one. And again, I'm not trying to, I'm more worried about people in the comments there. They'll be like zoom in and they'll be making sexualized comments, and I don't want to foster that. I understand. So here, we're down here at Jackson. Yeah, let's cross the street here. See, it's one of the, it got the diagonal crosswalks here. Chicago, this is State Street. Yeah, it's more empty when you get down to this, and there's more vacant. This whole most of this property is vacant here, even though this one, the University of Illinois Chicago, it's the one north here. See, this is DePaul University has classrooms here. This building is used by University of Illinois Chicago, so a lot of the colleges have filled up these buildings, which help out. There's National Louis University. DePaul has housing over here. If you just join, there's the Federal Plaza here. This is Jackson and State Street here, Loop of Chicago. We're going to head to the Harold Washington Library. I'm going to try to get to the Winter Garden at the top. If it's open, no guarantee it's open. I called yesterday. At first they told me it was open, then they called me back, said it was closed. They said it was going to be open today. I'm sure they'll find a reason to close it today, but the budgets of the CTA have been curtailed. Or no, of the library, I'm sorry. The CTA's been funded. They raised taxes there, and they passed a bill there. So here we'll head over to the Harold Washington Library. We're heading down State Street here. Hey, they're handing out coffee and food here. This is great. So they do outreach for the unhoused, the homeless here. They do coffee and provide. I noticed the guy standing there. Hopefully he got some coffee and food there. Here's the pink line. There's the pink line. Here's the Harold Washington Library. So that's where we want to go. We want to try to get to the Winter Garden up there. This is a free public library. This is the main library of Chicago. It was built around 1990. It's called the Harold Washington Library. They already had stopped the Cultural Center library activities before that. Chicago was without a main branch until they built this for a few years. And they did a big design competition. It's got really thick walls. So I'm going to try to start finding the Wi-Fi for the library here. And the screen might go dark for a second here. And yeah, Chicago, Taco jalapeno sauce is a native Chicagoan. Listen to what she says. She knows about this city like I do. I've only lived here half my life. I'm not a native Chicagoan. I defer to my friends and native Chicagoans that tune in here. Well, here, let me see. Give me a second here. I'm going to try to see if I can find the Wi-Fi here. So hold on. Turn the Wi-Fi on. I think I got to do a terms and conditions here. So we've got to try to go to the Chicago Public Library. I think I found it here. Let's see if we can. Nope, that's something else here. So maybe there'll be a sign here at the door here. So I'll wait till we go in the main entrance here, and I'll see if I can find if there's any password or instructions. The main entrance. So hey, welcome to Chicago. We got about 44 degrees. We got 12:19 in the PM. We're about to go in the Harold Washington Library, and if I can get the Wi-Fi here, we'll zig and zag. Here's the Harold Washington, Mayor of the City of Chicago here. There, April 12th, 1983. Legacy. There he is there. So here, we'll head through here. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I got it. Thank you. Oh, you got it? Good, thank you, appreciate it. I'm going to try to get the Wi-Fi here, so hold on a second, bear with me here. So here, terms and conditions. Sign into the conditions, connected. Okay, good. So here, let's see. We still got the stream going here. Yeah, we got 189 people here. Thanks for tuning in. So hey, we just went inside the Harold Washington Library. I think I successfully connected to Wi-Fi. There's Mayor Brandon Johnson, current mayor of Chicago. And here's Harold Washington. Here's Harold. He was the mayor in the 1980s. There's a nice statue to him here, Cobbler Hall here. Chicago Public Library. Unfortunately, he died in office. It really shook up Chicago. That was after the Bears won the Super Bowl. And I wasn't living in Chicago at that time, but I do vaguely remember that when I was a kid. And here's the Harold Washington Library. Here's the main entrance. We stream and clear the rear. Yeah. And no, it looks like Martin Luther King. It's Harold Washington. But see how they got a rotunda here where you can look down to the lower level. And here's the main counter there. They got some floors down here. We're going to head up to the Winter Garden. So it's going to be a lot of escalators. We got escalator up here. We're going to go up and we're going to zig and zag. We're going to try to get to the 10th floor. And again, if you just joined, we're in the Harold Washington Library, Chicago, Illinois. Hopefully my connection will be smooth. I switched to Wi-Fi. Let me know if I cut out and all. And we're going to try to head to the 10th floor of the Winter Garden here. And I'll just narrate as we go up here. I'm just a guy walking around Chicago. I walk to work. I've been streaming for about the past 3 years. And we've gone here before. It's been like a year ago. I would always lose my connection, and like a dummy, I wouldn't realize to switch to the Wi-Fi. So here we'll give you a little tour of all the floors of the library here. See, they got some paintings. You can look over. That's where we were just at. You can look down through that round hole in the ground there. So children's library, escalator down. We'll go up here. Now look at these. See, these are dog tags. I think these used to be in there was a Vietnam War art museum in the South Loop. I remember being there, and I remember the people that used to run it. I actually got to use their machine that would put the names, that would punch the names in the dog tags. This represents all the people that died in the Vietnam War. They put all their names on dog tags. And see, these are dog tags that you would get in the military. And this is the 50 to 60,000 people that lost their lives in the Vietnam War, visualized as dog tags hanging from the escalators. You go in. We're on the 3rd floor here at Washington Library. Yeah. Hey, thanks for everybody for helping out with the comments there. Isn't it nice if somebody comes in with some strange random comment? We got enough people in here to push back and say, what are you talking about? Why are you so negative? Can't you just enjoy walking through a library? So people are using the internet there, and you see how most of the floors are like this. You got escalators on either side. This is the Harold Washington Library, Chicago, Illinois. We got 1224 in the PM. This is my lunch walk here. And your older sister wore a copper bracelet. Wow, MIA soldiers, Bisa Lisa. Yeah, you realize the sacrifice, and we respect everybody in the military. And my dad was in Vietnam. A lot of people were, and he was lucky. He told me he was lucky. He didn't have it as bad as other people had it in Vietnam. You know, people that had to do the tours and out in the jungle there, and all the Vietnamese and the Cambodians that were bombed. And here's business, science, technology, the reference desk, level 4 here. Here's the Harold Washington Library here. We'll head up to the top here. On Wi-Fi, so I wonder why I'm on net for free. They got restrooms. They got restrooms and magazines and games. You can check out, if you're a Chicago resident and you have a library card, all you need is a proof of residency. You'll get a library card, you know, proof of address. You could check out museum tickets for free, like the Museum of Science and Industry or the Art Institute of Chicago or the aquarium. You could check out tickets for free and attend, you know, and the museums have free days anyway where you don't even have to have that. We've done that before. But here at the Harold Washington Library, how you doing there? Hey, Lambie T's tuning in there. Okay, it's getting choppy. So even with the Wi-Fi, I'm cutting out here. So we'll try to get it back. Maybe the Wi-Fi will help once we get to the Winter Garden. So it's because I'm in these tight spaces. It shows you both Wi-Fi and cell phone coverage has a hard time with this building. It's not just me, because I switched to Wi-Fi. I'm on the library Wi-Fi. We're on the 8th level here. So once you get to the 8th level, you got to transition over to the side, and I think it's the 9th level. So maybe it's not the 10th floor. Maybe it's the 9th floor that has the Winter Garden here. We'll try to go to the side here. Yeah, Grandma's Corner. Thanks for being on there. Taco jalapeno salsa. I always go up to level 9. That's down. Hey, look, that's Cousin It. That's my relative there. You got a painting there to Cousin It there. That's my portrait. See, over here they got it too. I guess I could have just went this way. They got it both ways there. See, does that look like me? So here, let's head up the last flight of escalators here. We'll try to get to the 9th floor where they got the Winter Garden. We'll see if it's open. There's no guarantee this thing's going to be open. The 9th level. Man, it's a huge place, a huge library. We're blessed to have this. Again, this was built in 1990. Was it Stanley Tigerman? It was the group there with Harry. Hey, the door's open here, so hey, you're in luck. So hey, once I turn the corner here, we'll do the whole spiel so we can cut it out here and hopefully my connection's fine. So hey, welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the 9th floor of the Harold Washington Library. Here we are on a Wednesday, lunchtime, November the 19th, 2025. And this is the Winter Garden, the 9th floor of the Harold Washington Library. And this is not open all the time. They said it was closed yesterday. See this neoclassical, postmodern design here. And you can just hang out at these chairs here. They got Wi-Fi. They got rooms on either side where they have exhibits and things. My voice, and you can read a book. And there are a little views to the skyline. We'll go to the window here, and then we'll show you this entire space here. But we've gone up here before. J City Walking Girl's gone up here. Many other live streamers. I think Ken's has gone up here. But it's not really a secret. It's just part of the library that you can, when it's open, you can come to the 9th floor of this Winter Garden, which is great in wintertime. See all these people just lounging out. You're gonna look out the window here. See what skyscraper. So this is the State Street side. Here's the State Street side. Nope, sorry. Didn't realize that vent was there. See, it's hard to get in the window. There's the top of the St. Regis. Look how it says LZ Leader, the name of the building. That's the housing for the Roosevelt University. They don't want people walking down these halls. But that's the top, yeah, that's the top of the Sullivan Center there. That's the old, hey Taco, you remember this building? It's the Northern Trust there. And well, it used to be the CNA building, but now it's Northern Trust. But hey, welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Harold Washington Library here. We're in the Winter Garden, 9th floor. Look how nice this looks. This is free and open to the public. When the library's open, sometimes they close it down for special events. It's best to call. I called yesterday. And I was going to try to come here yesterday, but they told me it was closed. So we came here today. They got little trees in here. Hey, we made it. It was open yesterday. They told me it was closed. Yeah, you tried in June. It was closed. Yeah, I know that's been my luck too. I come up here. It's closed. It's beautiful. See people hanging out here. Just lounge out here. It's great for the winter time. That's why they call it the Winter Garden. Yeah, Nita, yeah, thanks to everybody. Welcome to New Mod here. Grandma's Corner here. Thanks for tuning in there. I'm glad Taco Jalapeno Salsa's tuning in, and maybe Mary Therese, and I saw Pizza Lisa's tuning in. Thanks for being on Anita and Grandma's Corner there. Yeah, we're just doing it so we got plenty of people in the pool, so no one feels obligated. You don't want people to watch when they're watching anyway. We got all these holiday events coming up, so we're going to get busy here, but hey, we'll do one last pan here. Has anybody got any questions I missed here about the Harold Washington Library there? Thanks, Taco, for pinning that there so people know where we're at here. Peggy, how you doing there? Christy M there. See Michael. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, nice tour here. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully the Wi-Fi helped out a little bit. I know we cut out a little bit in the escalator, but at least we made it up to the... It was open yesterday. So Taco, I called them yesterday, and they first they told me it was open. And then I would have saw you here yesterday. I missed it. Well, I believe you're at lunch. I don't know what time you're here. Maybe it was just closed when I went to go there at lunchtime. They called me back and said, no, it's closed. I said, okay, I'll come tomorrow. And that's today. So what's going on here? Plymouth Court entrance under construction. Okay, so that here we got Olga Dies Dreaming book. They got some book here they're promoting here. National Gonzalez there. But here, Winter Garden there, that music. Yeah, 46 degrees, we're warming up here. Yeah, Daniel, thanks for tuning. Grand Rapids, that's great. It was open in the morning. Yeah, that's probably why they were confused yesterday. It was open and then they closed it. So thanks Taco Jalapeno Salsa. So here, we'll head down, we'll reverse this. If I lose my connection, I'm just avoiding going in the elevator here. So we'll make our way out of the Harold Washington Library, and then we'll reverse this, and we might end up at the Bean. Look at that blurry picture there. Dallas, T Fitz, how you doing there? Video's great. Good. MM, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, 10 levels. Yeah. So I think we're on the 8th level. Or the 9th. We're on the 8th or the 9th. Can't tell. But yeah, I think it has 10 levels. Yeah, we're on the 8th. So there must be one above the winter guard. So there's the... So just to expedite time, I'm going to take this elevator, so we'll probably lose our connection here. So thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, well, I'll ride with you then. Yeah. And there you can take the elevator to the 9th floor. There, but I lose my connection anyway using the escalator. So hey, if you just joined, we're in the Harold Washington Library. We're back on the ground floor here, and we'll head out here. There we go. Good. So now we're on the back side here. We're over here on Plymouth Court here. There's the old Colony building. There's the train pulling out of the station there. Police are going in there, so maybe it's a good thing we're getting out of here. See, this is the back of all these buildings here. This is the Metropolitan building. This is the Manhattan building. This is the Manhattan building. Here comes the train here. There's the Fisher's building there. These are some of the oldest steel frame structure skyscrapers in Chicago. Usually we see it from the Dearborn Street side. We're seeing it from the Plymouth Court side here because we came out of the Harold Washington Library, and we'll head right back up here, and we'll start heading towards Millennium Park here. So hey, thanks for sticking on. Lost my connection. Here, this is Van Buren here. It's underneath the L tracks here, Van Buren. So I do have reruns of O-Block. If you just would go to my TikTok, it's pinned to the top there. I got the King Von mural. We ride the green line under the divvy bike under the green line there on 63rd MLK. And we also went to Al Capone's, the house his mother lived in, which is actually south of there. It's in Grand Crossing, which is south of Parkway Gardens. Chicago, because I work downtown. I got to go back to work here because I got a job. And there, that's where we were at. We were in the Harold Washington Library, so we were up at the Winter Garden up there. You see how it wraps around the top there. You see how large that library is. So here, let's head up past the cantina here. Ponchos, rooftop, and cantina. Look at that. Yeah, Plymouth Court here. You go up on the roof there. They got a nice cantina up there, a bar. It's great in the summer. All right, but they got places inside here. Go to Ponchos here, South Plymouth Court. UIC Law Center's here. Let's cross. Look at this building. Look at this door. What is this? Is called the Standard Club. I don't know. I got to look into this building. I don't know anything about this building, the Standard Club. So here's the UIC Law Center there. See the Standard Club. 320 Plymouth Court here. Yeah. Nobody checked my ID to get up there, which is nice. It's free and open to the public. It's a good question. Yeah, you don't even need a library card to go in that building. You just need a library card to check out books. Hey, they got a Garrett's Popcorn here. Yeah, let's head up to the Federal Plaza here. We'll cross Jackson. This is Jackson Boulevard. We'll see the Calder statue here. We'll go up Dearborn for a while. So they're supposed to open the Kris Kringle Market tomorrow. We can cruise straight up Dearborn. Here's the Monadnock building. See, the load-bearing walls are on this side. The steel frame construction is on the south side. We've walked through the arcade at the bottom of that building. There's the Calder Flamingo sculpture, the post office, Federal Plaza. Well, this is Federal Plaza. That's why they're prepared for, this is the war zone that is Chicago here. They're prepared for the onslaught of the Federal building here. Yeah, we don't appreciate people calling Chicago a ghetto. You know, it's part of the United States of America. Look, there's the Sears Tower. You know, this building needs some work there. You can buy this building and renovate it. There's the Calder there. But we still got some very expensive real estate here. It pays a lot of taxes for America and for the city of Chicago. So, you know, and I bet you're an American. If it's somebody slamming Chicago, it's a fellow American because they don't like big city politics. And we understand that. There's the LaSalle State. Well, it's the field. I should start calling it the Field Building. It was called the Fields Building. It was only briefly called the LaSalle Bank Building. They're renovating that to housing. Remember, I did that whole video on it. We walked through that arcade at the bottom. That's the LaSalle State Bank Building, the Field Museum. That was built, the last building to be built after the stock market crashed in the 1930s. The last skyscraper. There were other buildings built, but they were just smaller. And the same thing happened with the Empire State Building. They started construction after the stock market had already crashed, and they decided to finish it, and then no one would lease it out because no one had any money, and it sat empty for 20 years almost. A lot of these buildings had the same problem. But here's Dearborn Street, New York and Chicago. This is a post office. So there used to be an historic courthouse here. The first one burnt down in the Great Chicago Fire, then they rebuilt it, and then they tore that down in the 1950s, and they built this stuff in the 1960s. And this is Mies van der Rohe, and that's Calder. That's the Calder Flamingo. This is the post office. They call it the Federal Plaza. We're here. There's Burkhoff's German restaurant. They got #1 liquor license. There's the Art Institute of Chicago, Adams Street, Loop of Chicago, and yeah, London's nice, but this is Chicago. So thanks for tuning in here. Appreciate it. There's pretty many people that live stream in London. About London's probably one of the largest ones. And here we'll go by the Marquette building here. They got a beautiful lobby. Yeah, let me just show you this lobby here since we're here. Let me make sure that my Wi-Fi is off here. There we go. So there we go. So here, let's go in here. Let's check out this beautiful lobby of the Marquette building. And look at that. Above King Louis V Cherokees, the Creeks were allied with the French. Marquette building. I don't even know if I'm streaming here. But here they got some Christmas decorations, corner bakery there. Marquette building, 140 South Dearborn here, Chicago, Illinois. We'll keep on going here. Got 1242. Back to Dearborn Street. Yeah, we usually lose our connection in there. I give it a try. Sometimes we are able to stream it, sometimes we not. You know, same with Harold Washington. I couldn't get on the Wi-Fi in there. We got reruns of it if you're interested in seeing those mosaics and more about the history of the French colonial period in America, the Marquette and the Marquette building. I think it's Halliburton Roche. Halliburton Roche is the architects that designed it. Again, that's an early steel. That's probably one of the earliest steel frame construction skyscrapers that still exist. So a lot of them have been torn down from the 1890s. That building goes back to the 1890s. And it has elevators. You know, some of the things it has were like state-of-the-art, brand new things. Like elevators weren't used that way for passengers until just, 10 years before that. And it was built before air conditioning, that building. So here we'll head through... here's the Chase Bank Plaza. They're working on this. There's the Italian Village here. If you just joined, we're in Chicago, Loop of Chicago. We're Dearborn and Monroe, Dearborn and Monroe Streets. And this is the Chase Bank building right there. And this is the Chase Bank Plaza. This is known for having the Chagall mosaic. There's the Chagall mosaic. That's a famous mosaic that's in art history books. They're protecting it now. It's under construction. They're redoing the plaza here. We'll keep you up to date on. I got to be careful not to fall into the Blue Line. They got entrances to the Blue Line subway. So on Michigan Avenue, there's not subways. It just takes you to the lower level. On Dearborn and Straight there's a subway. State Street has the Red Line, and Dearborn has the Blue Line. Peggy, how you doing there? Flat tax. Yeah, I remember. What was his name? Steve Forbes always was talking about the flat tax. At least we saw a little bit of it. Yeah, we cut out a little bit. Yeah, we try. We keep giving it a try. This is not perfect. Wait till we try to film the Christmas tree lighting there. We'll lose our connection right before the countdown because that's usually when it gets so crowded and everybody starts streaming. Upload to the iCloud. Yeah, thanks, Taco. Yeah, thanks, Taco, for being on there. Grandma's Corner, Taco, and Anita, Mary Therese. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here, and everybody else. Newton and Minnow. Who's Newton and Minnow? As they cut the funding for PBS, he was the guy that coined the term the vast wasteland of TV. He lobbied Congress for PBS funding. And remember, in the original days of TV, PBS didn't exist. There was no public broadcasting, and they realized that most of the programming for kids was just to sell them commercials. It wasn't to educate them or documentaries. So they created a public broadcasting system, which is how we got Sesame Street. We got Electric Company. Oh, I don't know what the Electric Company, PBS, all those shows. Newton and Minnow was the guy that lobbied Congress, eventually got the money for it. He's from this area. And Mr. Rogers had to do that. Mr. Rogers had to go to Congress and lobby for funding for PBS, and he actually helped out, you know. And he was a Methodist minister, I think, right? Or Mr. Rogers. PBS there. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah, you smell the Garrett's popcorn? Wait till tomorrow. Hopefully this time tomorrow we'll be cruising through the Kris Kringle Market. We'll give you a preview here. They'll have the roasted almonds, the gluten wine. They'll have all the schnitzel and the great smells and hot chocolate and gluten wine. And Kris Kringle Market, the German Christmas market they have every year at Daily Plaza. They're setting it up. It's supposed to open tomorrow. We'll probably check it out Thursday and Friday. We'll do it 2 days in a row. And then Friday night they're going to light the official Christmas tree. We should see it right before the end of this live. We'll go to the Bean here. We got 1246 here. We're on Dearborn Street. We got about 44 degrees. Yeah, 1247 in the PM here, Chicago time. See how there's a bike lane here. This is Dearborn Street at Washington. And here's the Picasso, Daily Plaza. Hopefully they'll open this up tomorrow at 11 a.m. We hope to go to it tomorrow at noon. We'll see if it actually opens on Thursday. Hey, there's Pope Leo. There's the Chicago Pope. There's the Chicago Pope on the Chicago Channel 2 News. Look at that. There he is. Pope Leo, firm support for bishops after statements opposing U.S. crackdown. See, everything's political. Everything's political. Even if you're in the clergy, you got to make a stand. So here's the Kris Kringle Market here. So hey, we'll just show you the entrance here. There's the Picasso. So tomorrow, this should be open, and we'll head through here. It'll probably be really crowded. Hopefully I'll be able to keep my connection. But look at all the ornaments. They'll have cuckoo clocks. So much stuff you can buy, clothing, all kinds of gifts and ornaments. And there, welcome into the Kris Kindle Market, Chicago. Kris Kindle Market. That's the German name there. And I call it the Kris Kringle Market. But hey, they're about ready to open this thing up, so can't wait to go through here. Here's City Hall, Daily Plaza. We'll be back here tomorrow. Here's your weather. Let's see if we can get the weather forecast. So it looks like there's a big low. All that rain that California got is coming our way. So here's south of Chicago. Here's the Channel 2 weather report here for Wednesday, November the 19th, 2025 here. There it is. Hey, there's your Bears. There's your Bears game forecast. They're 59 and sunny. That's pretty good for Sunday. It's not too bad there. There's your kickoff forecast for Sunday. Let's see if they give the 7-day here. Here today, 46 degrees. Here's the Chicago weather here at CBS News. There's your tonight, 42. Let's see what the 7-day is. Come on, get to the 7-day. There it is. 46, 54, 51, a lot of 50s. 59 on Sunday. The weekend looks nice. 50, 59. We got some sunshine, little breeze, but we'll take it. That ain't bad for November. We'll take it. That's a nice forecast. So here, let's cross the street. Yeah, these are the Channel 2 news studios right here. They're not doing the live broadcast here. Here's Dearborn Street. But hey, it's not too bad there. Sometimes you can see them right here at the news desk. They're not. Yeah, it shouldn't be political to want people to be treated humanely. That's what, you know, if the religious leaders can emphasize that, you know, whether people are U.S. citizens or not, you deserve basic human rights. And I know if people broke the law, then they deserve to have due process, even whether they're U.S. citizens or not. They just want to take the cheap way out and avoid all the red tape. And that's not the way we're all the time. Every time a politician says, "Oh, we're a country of rule of law," but if Congress chooses not to enforce the law and let the president do whatever it wants, we're in a world of hurt. Congress has let us down, and we'll remember. So both parties, you know, it does. I'm not trying to make this partisan, you know. And here's the Goodman Theater. Hey, welcome to Chicago here. We'll head around Randolph. We'll head straight over to Millennium Park here. There, the Dearborn. So I should have stayed on Washington Street. I messed up. If I would have just went down Washington Street, but I wanted to film the Nederlander here. So we'll film the Nederlander. We'll go by the Macy's, and we'll head over to Millennium Park here. We'll show you the Christmas tree before we head back to work, the bean there. Yeah, Kelly Quinn. Hey, you can Google Chicago events there. Thanks for the good information there. Taco jalapeno salsa there. See you, Phil. Mary's, Phil, Daniel. Yeah, the city's beautiful. So I know it's hard with this political climate, but you know, as the state senator yesterday and the aldermen, we've had a rough fall with ICE and all the political drama, and the president calling for J.B. Pritzker to be jailed, our governor, and we just want to be able to celebrate the holidays and just light a Christmas tree and take a break from it. And our hearts go out to Charlotte. We support Charlotte. Charlotte's dealing with ICE now. Thankfully, Chicago's getting a little break, but they'll be back. Trust me, they'll be back. I saw that there's enforcement in New York City going on. Here's the window displays. So here, we'll quickly check out the window displays here on Macy's here, Marshall Field. See, they're still even Macy's using the Marshall Field branding here. And we've shown these many times. I won't spend much time here. I made a mistake. I should have stayed on Washington Street. We showed this earlier in the week, but I'll just quickly show you the window displays here at Macy's Marshall Fields. Actually, we can go inside and I'll show you the Tiffany Dome before we head over to Millennium Park there. We'll go into one of the entrances here. We'll show you how beautiful the decorations are on the inside here. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. So here, Macy's. This used to be Marshall Fields. And look at the beautiful decorations, the chandeliers here. We got reruns. We went up to the 7th floor. We checked out the Walnut Room. Now you got the Christmas tree up there. All reservations are booked solid through Christmas. And this is Macy's. Marshall Fields, the makeup counter. How you doing? Beautiful. How you doing? Thank you. Hey, thanks for saying hello. That's great. What a beautiful store. I like the decorations here. This is nice. See, he knew who I was there. See, they're taking pictures of it. Here's the Tiffany Dome. There's the Tiffany Dome in Macy's Marshall Fields. Look at that. This is the largest Tiffany Dome in the world. 1.6 million pieces of glass here. 1907 here. Unbroken Tiffany Dome here. Marshall Fields. We've got videos where we go up to the 5th floor there. We look at it up close. Check out my reruns. We look at it from over there. I just want to briefly show it to you. I got to really make some time up. Let's get to Millennium Park as quickly as possible here. We'll head back to Washington Street. We'll go over and we'll show you the tree that they're going to light on Friday, and then we'll show you the bean, and then I'll have to sign off and head back to work here. Hey, we saw the Harold Washington Library. Hopefully some of that streamed. We'll see, hopefully enough to make a rerun. And here, we'll head around here. Hey, there's the Green Line train. There's the Green Line train heading across Washington Street, going up Wabash here. That's the east end of the loop of Chicago. Scenes of the city there. We'll go by the Pittsfield building here. But this street aligns right with the official Christmas tree. I think it's 68 feet tall. I think yesterday I messed up and said 58. I think it's 68 feet tall. It's almost 70 feet tall. And thanks to the Mason family from Glenview. Glenview is a suburb of Chicago. They donated a tree from their own property. And they do that. Different families usually donate a tree. And here we'll get across Wabash and we'll head right over to Millennium Park. We'll check out the Bean and see if anybody's ice skating. I doubt it. But they're going to get that ready here pretty soon. Here's the Trump Tower, Wabash. Here's the Washington Wabash CTA train station here. Loop of Chicago, 44 degrees, 12:55 in the PM. Hey, hit that thumbs up there if you like this content. If you like that Tiffany Dome or the Harold Washington Library, hit the thumbs up there. It helps more people find this content. If you like this Christmas tree or the Bean, hit the thumbs up there. And if you like my moderators there, doing a great job, hit the thumbs up there. I really appreciate it. Keeping everything civil in the chat. I'm missing all the comments here. Used to ride that train to bartender school? Yeah. $50 a day? Really? That's how much your commute was? I think they're raising the fee to $2.75. You know, it was $2.50. They're going to raise it to $2.75 for CTA fares, I think. But here's the cultural center. This used to be the main library long before the Harold Washington was built. Hey, for the love of Chicago, facts. Facts are a dangerous thing. Here's the train. Here's the Pittsfield building. Here's these cows, the bulls on parade. See how it's got the water tower in that eye, and it's got the Picasso there, the Picasso Daily Plaza in the other eye there. So here we'll wait to cross the street here. We got 8 seconds here. We're Michigan and Washington. Here the Harold or the Cultural Center, the Pittsfield building. That's looking south on Michigan Avenue. We'll head right over to the B and Millennium Park here, 12:57. Hey, we got the light. So there's the Wrigley building. We'll finish the live. We'll head up that way. But here's the tree. Here it is. This is the official Christmas tree they're going to light on Friday night. They got the star at the top. Look at that. They're putting the lights on there. That's a 68-foot Norwegian spruce donated by the Mason family from Glenview, Chicago, a suburb. Chicago has over 100 suburbs. And hey, they're putting lights on these. Well, I think they're still putting the last lights on the tree here. There it is, the official Christmas tree for Millennium Park. We'll be back here on Friday. Ernie's talking about using his drone. Ernie might be able to get some live drone shots on TikTok. Wouldn't that be amazing? And with the fireworks. So I'm going to try to hook up with Ernesto Chicago Nuggies. There might be some other Chicago live streamers down here. Hey, here's some of the lights. Here's some of the lights here. And look at all the lights they're putting on the tree. Literally millions of lights. With the official Christmas tree here in Chicago. Here, we'll show it to you. I'll try to get here early and camp out here. It's hard for me to just stay in one spot for a long time, but I might have to do it on Friday because last year I waited too late to get through that security line. We almost missed it. But I'll try to go through the security earlier today, or on Friday. Hey, they got a nice view. There's the top of the Sears Tower there, Pittsfield building. But this is the official Christmas tree here, Millennium Park here. Yeah. What's so important about me showing my face? You want to use like facial recognition for ICE? I think it's ICE. They want to like scan my face and, you know, throw me to the ground or something there. We get that taunt every day. It just shows you people don't watch my content, because most people that watch my content know I do show my face. I do make videos with my face. It's just people trolling me. They like to have power, do psyops. You should be a politician and run for president. You can gaslight the entire nation. You can call me Piggy, even though I'm not a woman. Here's the Great Bean of Chicago. Thanks for tuning in here. There's the Great Bean of Chicago. We saw it every day this week. We've been seeing the bean here. Getting a lot of beautiful bean footage here. Millennium Park, Chicago, Illinois. 1 o'clock on the dot. We got 44 degrees. Yeah. Hey, the dog likes it there. So, the Millennium Park Holiday Market. Noon to 8 p.m. Saturday, November 21st, 23rd. So this weekend, I think right there, that's going to be the Millennium Park Holiday Market. So that'll be Friday and Saturday, or I think that's, so maybe we'll check that out on Friday. Hey, the Great Bean of Chicago here. Let's see if the ice skating's open. How you doing? Yeah, Beavis and Butthead. We like Beavis and Butthead. I think I'm either Beavis or Butthead, maybe both. Yeah, we'll go knock on the bean. We'll see if anybody knocks back the man trapped in the bean there. 6 feet of snow. Yeah, maybe we'll get 6 feet of snow. That would be awesome. That'll put us in the holiday spirit. I don't think. We just saw the forecast. It said sunny and 50 degrees there. It's supposed to be 59 degrees on Sunday for the Bears game. See, look. What's the big deal? Knock on the bean here. How you doing there? How you doing? Sorry. How you doing? Yeah. See, they're giving a nice selfie there. I'm in people's pictures. I'm sorry. That's the good thing about digital pictures. You can always take another if I accidentally photobomb. You've got a live streamer in your shot there. But here's the ice skating rink. So last year there were people ice skating when they lit the tree. So I bet they're waiting for Friday and they'll open up this ice skating there. But hey, Great Bean of Chicago, there it is. Yeah, Balmaro, how you doing there? Yeah. Have a good Wednesday afternoon. So, hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to the mods. Thanks for people hitting the thumbs up there and liking this content. I really appreciate it. We checked out the Harold Washington Library. And we checked out setting up for the Kris Kringle Market. If you want to, you can rewind this. That's the great thing about YouTube. You can watch the reruns. I'm going to head back to work. Yeah, this is the holiday market. They're going to have the Millennium Park Holiday Market here. Let's take a peek in here. Maybe we can look inside. This is going to be open November 21st and 23rd, Friday and Saturday, noon to 8, Sunday, noon to 5. They did this last year, so this is kind of an expansion of the Kris Kringle Market. They have it over here because so many people come for the Christmas tree lighting and the next day to ice skate and stuff. Yeah, they don't have anything set up there, so there'll be booths and stuff. That'll be where it's at. So here, we'll go get you a nice view of the tree there. There's the top of the Sears Tower, Pittsfield Building, official Christmas tree, Millennium Park there. Yeah, Jim, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Waylon, thanks for tuning in from Kentucky. That's awesome. Yeah, Scott, Michael Rodriguez, Gerald. Ice skate, yeah. You got the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon. Check out my reruns from yesterday at lunch and Monday at lunch. We saw the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbons open. One Golden Nubian, thanks for watching there. Appreciate it. Krista, Phil. Yeah, have a great afternoon here. So, Italy's tuning in there. That's great. Texas, yeah. And not just Julie Reed, other people from Texas are tuning in. That's good. Yeah, Julie, I hope to be down in the Houston area for the Christmas and New Year's there. I might miss the Chicago's going to have the Ryan Seacrest an hour later than New York. They're going to do the countdown in Chicago, but you'll have to watch the other Chicago live streamers covering it. There'll be fireworks and stuff. I'll be shooting fireworks probably with my nephews in Texas. They usually shoot off a bunch of fireworks like everybody in their subdivision. The whole state of Texas seems to be shooting fireworks off on New Year's. Yeah, Rome, how you doing there? Julia, yeah, very nice. Gerald, Aisha, AJ, ADJS, yeah. Allison Jack, Christy M. Couple of weeks Saturday, that's good. Hey, that's good. Heinrich, yeah, thanks Peggy. Thanks for tuning in here. Hey, they got some gifts and stuff here. We'll head across Randolph Street. I want to get across the street. Excuse me, I'm gonna jog a little bit. See, I'm running to get back to work. I'm running to get back to work here. Get across the street here. Hey, they're towing the car. Maybe they're towing it to lower whacker. Towing the car there. Here we got 19 seconds. There's the train. There's the green line. There's Randolph, the theater district, Loop of Chicago. Thanks for checking out my little lunch walk here in Chicago, Illinois, United States, planet Earth. We'll round it out with this nice view. We get to the Wrigley building. I'll head back to work. And we'll see you after 5 o'clock tonight. If you missed any, we got reruns. You can check out the rerun both on TikTok and YouTube. We checked out the Old Town Christmas tree lighting last night. Yeah, thanks mods. Thanks Anita. Thanks all the mods. You guys are great. And thanks for showing Grandma's Corner the ropes there. If you got any questions there. Hey, there I am. See you. Look, showing my face again. How you doing? We'll flip it around there. Hey, the Rainbow Cone, Auntie Anne's, Cinnabon. Rainbow Cone's open here on Michigan Avenue. We'll go past the Garrett's Popcorn, and we'll go past the Nando's Nutellas. Yeah, see you later there, lovely Bolmaro, Michael Rodriguez. Yeah, thanks for the info there. Taco, thanks so much for all the great info. I really appreciate it. And here, Bubblicious, Stan's Donuts, Nutellas. Okay, it's 1:06. I better sign off here. So we'll see you all tomorrow. There's no line at Nutellas. We'll see you after 5 o'clock. Thanks again, mods, and everybody else. Have a great day. And appreciate it.